Alright, I just did probably the craziest Incursions run that I've ever done, because I was supposed to be done with it like by Zone 8, because at Zone 8, all my champions had like 20% health, and I just lost pretty much all my hope that I would get kind of far. However, this has just been absurd, and Sandman is one of the craziest Incursions champions you will ever see, because check this out, man. I was just so taken aback with how strong Sandman is in Incursions. Like, he is genuinely one of the best Incursions champions, because check this out, man. And we have the draining degen buff, which is just super strong for Sandman. So what it does is, whenever you knock down the opponent, you inflict a power drain debuff. And if you inflict another one, you inflict a degen debuff, and 2 of them if you have a relic equipped. So check out just how crazy this is. So there's one knockdown, and then check this out. Look at the degen damage. It is just so powerful, and he is just melting now. And that was like 430,000 health in about 30 something seconds. It's pretty wild, man. It really is just insane how strong Sandman is in Incursions. And here's the thing, when I took up Sandman, it was for act content or like variants, right? It wasn't for Incursions, but now that I know that Sandman is just crazy good for Incursions, then this rank up became 1,000 times better, because Incursions is one of the best game modes for a free-to-play account. So yeah, there Heimdall saves me, which is pretty dang sweet, man. Like, Heimdall was an MVP in this run as well. That cheat death is just so strong. And without it, I would have been done with this run a while ago. But Heimdall, just a really strong champion in his own regard. But check out this damage again. Look at that. The 4 degens just do so much damage. And then, yeah, he is just done. Really straightforward stuff. Really fun stuff as well. Sandman is just such a powerful champion. And here we have the CGR fight. No big deal. CGR, you already know how good he is in Incursions, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. But yeah, he's pretty crazy. And there, yet again, I get saved by Heimdall. Heimdall just really plays a big role in this whole run. But once CGR gets going, he really just is so powerful. And with the Tide of Combat modifier, he is so strong. And Sandman as well. So my build for this run was Tide of Combat, which, if you don't know what it does, it gives you 2 Fury buffs whenever a non-damaging debuff expires, and Sandman and CGR have a ton of those. So it is a pretty crazy result, and it's just such a strong combo for them. And then the draining degen, I already explained, but yeah, really good for Sandman there too. And here we have Mr. Negative, and this fight could have gone better, but then again, my CGR is at literally 1% health, so you can't really blame him too much if he doesn't survive the fight, right? But yeah, CGR, such a powerhouse, man. Like, even at a rank 4 ascended level, still just so valuable for my account. But Mr. Negative here has one ability that kind of just messed me up, and it's whenever we have a non-damaging debuff on us, we take some damage over time. And yeah, Mr. Negative, whenever he is knocked down, places a delirium on you, and that is a non-damaging debuff, so we take damage and we just don't survive, unfortunately. But Sandman has come to the rescue, of course, as usual. This man is just so valuable. Sandman, I cannot wait for the buff, because in my opinion, he's already good right now. He's already a fantastic character right now, and he's gonna get better, you're telling me? That's just insane, man. Just so insane. But yeah, Sandman, you gotta appreciate him. And also, but here I was trying to dex for strategic movement, but that just didn't go well at all, because Mr. Negative has the hardest medium dash attack to dex ever. It's so impossible to do, I feel like. So I just couldn't get my Furies at all. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm also running strategic movement, which is so powerful. So what it does is, whenever you dodge an attack, you get a Fury and a dormant unblockable charge, right? And then once you consume it, you get a massive Fury and you get unblockable, which is so useful for low health runs, because you don't have to parry at all. You can just dex, use the unblockable, and there is your free opening. So it is a really powerful combo with all the other modifiers and at low health. But now we have Dani Moonstar here, and Dani Moonstar is quite concerning, because she can fail indestructibles. So that is not fun at all, right? Because I am pretty much relying on indestructibles for Sandman and like with Heimdall as well. So I'm a bit scared here because one wrong move and I'm just in the bin. And Dani Moonstar, if you push her to the SP2, it's just game over. You will not survive that. Like, she has the most menacing SP2 in the game, but we don't push her to that yet, right? Because we face one later on, and that is a nightmare, but you'll see that later. But I'm just so nervous here, man, because I know I can't mess up, because if I do, I don't have a failsafe. I just have to not survive, and I have to quit out the run, which is going to be terrible to do, right? But then check this out. So she fails the indestructible, right? But it still didn't KO me somehow. And I was like, what just happened? I was so confused, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to still go full send, and it works somehow. We somehow survive despite Dani Moonstar failing my indestructible. I don't know how that happened. I have zero clue how that happened, but no complaints from here. And now we have this Mordo fight. Sandman is a great Mordo counter with the decelerate, so no big issues here. Yeah. Just a really simple Mystic fight. Sandman, made for Mystic characters, has the Petrify, has the Decelerate, has a ton of debuffs, can reverse healing and power gain. So yeah, he is just a really strong Mystic destroyer. And Mordo, of course, plays like Mordo does, but strategic movement kind of cheeses Mordo because it makes you go unblockable, right? And Mordo, when he's hit, starts playing aggressive again, which is hilarious. But check this out, man. We're going to go in, we're going to get our 20 stacks for unstable, we drop the heavy attack, and the damage output is just so insane. How is this even allowed, man? That is just unbelievable damage output. But yeah, there is zone 13 done, and what was supposed to be a fluke has been now a zone 13 completion. Insane. Just so unbelievable. But now let's go into zone 14. Here we have this beast, no big deal. No nodes, so it's just a standard beast. But beast sometimes catches me with the SP1 for some reason. Don't know why, but yeah, it's pretty annoying. But here I play it fine. Thankfully, man. I cannot mess up here at this point. Like, they have, over 100,000 PI, so one blocked hit, one wrong, input, and I'm just done. I don't have a chance besides my Heimdall safety net, but even then, it's still really scary, so let's just try to avoid that, which we do decently well for these next couple of fights, but yeah, it gets pretty dangerous really fast. But then check this out. Doesn't matter because once we get the heavy attacks going, he just does not survive, and it's such a fun time. Look at that degen damage, man. It's just so crazy. And look at the regular hits too. Like, he is critting so hard, and that was just so clean. 40 something seconds for a ton of health. You'll love to see it. Let's see the health pools now. It's like about 500,000 in total. Wild stuff, man. Totally wild stuff. But check out CGR just doing CGR things. Even with Elsa Bloodstone who purifies, she still gets destroyed by him. You'll love to see it. Just check out this damage. He's hitting like a 6-starring 5 ascended champion, not a 5-starring 4-1. But yeah, he just ends the fight pretty fast. For an Elsa Bloodstone, not too shabby at all. And yeah, we dropped the SP2. And that ends the fight really well. And now we have a Sunspot boss. No big deal here, just a Sunspot. But I forget about one massive thing about Sunspot that almost cost me my entire run. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second here. But I was so scared afterwards. Now, this has fist cuffs, right? And fist cuffs is annoying because I can't inflict my debuffs. And if I get hit, I cannot rely on Heimdall to save me because I won't have my indestructible or my unblockable. So that is not a fun time in the slightest. So I want to avoid that. And thankfully, we avoid it. We can survive now with Heimdall because the fist cuffs timer is now away. Perfect. So I can drop the SP1 now, and we can just start doing our usual stuff, which we do. And then this happens. So he drops the SP1, that's fine. But then I go back in afterwards, and he inflicts Incinerates onto me. Now, I was worried here because Incinerates do damage to Sandman. So I couldn't really survive that, and that's why I ended the fight with like 1% health. So if I played that wrong, I would have been done for. So yeah, be careful with Sunspot with Sandman, because it can cost you an Incursions run, is what I'm trying to say here. But here we have this Stark Spidey, no big deal, just a regular Stark Spidey. He goes down pretty fast, thankfully. And this is zone 15. This is the final zone for the entire run, so it pretty much all ends here. Can I get to the final boss and defeat Dani Moonstar? We'll have to see. But first up is Professor X, no big deal. There's Tyranny on it, but we can still do a lot of damage anyway with strategic movement or just Tide of Combat. No big issue here, and he goes down pretty fast overall. So, we now have defeated Professor X. There is just one fight left, and it's Dani Moonstar. I'm nervous here, man. This is the final boss. If I complete this, then I can just get all the rewards, and I'll be chilling for the next reset. So let's find out. So here I dropped the SP2, some pretty nice damage output. Just kidding, we got no crits, so that's always a fun time. And like I said with Dani Moonstar, she can fail your indestructible, which is always really dangerous. And here's something even more dangerous. I push her to the SP2, and that kind of cost me the entire run right there, because her SP2 inflicts so much damage onto the blocks that I barely had a chance of surviving that, which I somehow do, but it's kind of just over from here, to be honest. Here I can just drop the SP2, hope for some good damage, which I get some decent damage at least, but yeah, I don't really have a chance at this point because she dropped the SP2 and that just ended me right there. So now it's all up to Sandman. Let's see if he can just get the job done, and if we can just say that we survived Zone 15 of Sector 5 with this, this dream team, right? And unfortunately, I just do not survive, because look at the AI, man. I couldn't do anything against this. Like, she was playing so passive, I stood no chance whatsoever. Super annoying. Now I'm just like upset about it, because like the AI just did me so dirty, but it is what it is. 14 zones, man. You can't really complain about that. I will take it for sure. First of all, this was supposed to be an 8-zone run, and instead it was 14 zones, so I can't really complain too much about anything here. So let's just open the rewards and let's see what we get. So I have to buy these last couple of 6-star shards, no big deal here. And now let's try for a decent 6-star champion. So keep in mind, I used a lot of time and effort on this run, so I hope it's worth it in the end, man. I hope that I can just get a really good 6-star champion. Anything useful, anything good for incursions, or just for story questing, or just for like variants, just something decent here, please. And the reel looks pretty good so far. There is Human Torch, there is the Mighty Hulk, there is Absorbing Man, there is Mcoc. A pretty great reel, but we land on a 6-star version of Nightcrawler. Now, that is not what I wanted. That is not good for story questing or variants or pretty much anything in the game. So yeah, massive waste of a crystal, and honestly a waste of my time, but it is what it is. But I choose not to just give up like that. I end up buying another 6-star crystal, because why not? Let's just buy one. Let's just see how it turns out, because I earned this, man. I earned this 6-star champion. I worked too hard to just not get the 6-star hero. So let's see how it turns out, man. Just hopefully something decent here. I really want a good Incursions or variant champion, or just something that is just solid overall. Like, there is Shocker, who I really appreciate. There is Guardian. There's Wong, who would be amazing. And the crystal stops, and it stops on a 6-star version of Thing. Now, Thing is exactly what I wanted. He is great for defense, he is great for incursions, for variants as well, and story questing. This is a massive pull. But yeah, that incursions run was just crazy, man. It went from like an 8-zone run to a 14-zone run, all thanks to Heimdall, Sandman, and CGR. Just some crazy good incursions champions. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the incursions run. And let me know your thoughts on the 6-star pool, because Thing, in my opinion, is a great champion, so I will take that for sure. A massive win all around. And yeah, that's about it for me.